The global action plan that we're launching today takes on what the international community has identified as the biggest barriers left in the fight to end this pandemic. It's our clearest roadmap yet, laying out 6 key lines of effort that, when pursued together, will help us achieve the goals laid out by President Biden at the global COVID-19 summit last year: vaccinate the world, save lives now, prepare the world against future pandemics. It's designed explicitly to match a country's unique strengths with pressing areas of need. Maybe that's logistics and operations. Maybe it's a strong pharmaceutical industry. Our challenge now is to connect these capacities with where they can do the most good for the most people. We're identifying gaps and we're closing gaps. That's what the Global Action Plan plans to do. Let me briefly lay out each line of effort. First and most important, we've got to continue to get more shots into more arms more quickly. That means addressing equity gaps by increasing access to effective vaccines around the world. But we know that increasing supply by itself is not enough to turn vaccines into vaccinations. We must also solve last mile challenges, like access to cooling technologies for vaccines in transit. Japan has shown leadership in this area with its last 1 mile support program to about 60 countries. We've got to keep building on that progress. Second, we must strengthen the supply chains for vaccines and other critical supplies like syringes, test kits, treatments. The pandemic has highlighted just how vulnerable they are. We can't hit the WHO target without these supplies. Third, we've got to address the information gaps that lead to low confidence in vaccines. In some cases, bad actors are spreading misinformation and disinformation. In others, there's a lack of clear information about how safe and effective the vaccines are. By tailoring our message to local audiences, we can provide clear guidance, push back against disinformation, and increase vaccine confidence. Fourth, we need to provide more support, including vaccinations, equipment, training, to healthcare workers who've been on the front lines of this pandemic from the start, risking their own lives to save others. Fifth, we've got to make it easier for COVID patients to access treatments and therapeutics, because ending the pandemic isn't only about protecting people from the virus, it's also helping save lives of those who get sick. And sixth and finally, we have to look to the future and strengthen global health security for the next emergency. Among other things, that means ensuring sustainable financing for pandemic preparedness and response, including well-financed international institutions and a new fund at the World Bank that focuses specifically on providing for the capacity that we need to prevent, to detect, to respond to future threats.